All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 18 of Trade You for the Fruit Punch. We are
We are
back.
back to regularly scheduled Trade
We
You for the
are
Fruit
Ari.
Punch.
Ari is back in his prison cell at his dorm. We can see his bed is already unmade, and he's only been there one night. Fantastic. Good look.
I slept for me.
I don't know. Make your bed. I mean, come on. So we are doing something a little different today. We are actually doing the pod while the Sixers are playing, and I have it on my big screen.
I have it
And
on my
so
iPad.
Okay. So right now they're showing Ben Simmons. I did go to the. So, we always start with random thoughts. We're going to try to keep this one a little bit short, but we always say that
No,
and we
we
never do.
aren't.
So random thoughts. The first thing is we're going to start eating weird foods and talking about them. And so the first one I ordered was cucumber flavored Pringles from Japan.
Not even pickle, cucumber.
No,
They
cucumber.
were very cucumbery.
They
It
were very
was really
cucumbery.
interesting.
So your mother tried one. She happens to, well, she said it tasted like puke. She
She
happens to
did.
like puke because she drinks a shake from Juice Press that looks blue and tastes like puke, and she loves it. So she was definitely into um, the cucumber
Oh, has
flavored
she been
Pringles.
snacking on them?
I don't believe so. No, I think it's a one and done type of thing. Your sister was not into them. I was
But
not
it
into them.
wasn't a hatred. I was
No,
not
no,
into
it
them
wasn't.
either. They were very strange to say the least.
So we should. Here's what I think we should do, right? Especially since it's random thoughts and people do get it through the first 3, 5, 7 minutes of this pod and then shut us down. Um, in the comments, tell us a country you'd like us to taste the food from, and then we'll go into it. Now, it can't sorry, I'm not sure I can procure food from like Kazakhstan. I'm pretty sure
I
I
don't think
can't
anyone
procure
wants you to
food
get
from.
food. It's got to be like a snack too. It can't be.
Yeah, no, it's
We don't want
snack,
full meal. We want like a
snack
chip.
food. Give us a country, and we'll go from there. Now, my thought was for next week, maybe we do ketchup flavored Pringles or ketchup flavored chips.
Yeah, because we're
Yeah,
such a
because
huge ketchup
that's the whole
family.
point. We both hate ketchup. Like it's one of our least favorite food. Well, all
It's
foods are
just
your least favorite foods,
horrible.
but I mean, this coming from the individual who
You
barely eats
agree
onions.
with
So
me.
I don't like ketchup. So maybe that's the one. But if people could just leave us some comments, please, the 7 of you that listen, please leave us some comments. Um, so we're watching this game. I went to the Phoenix Suns game against the um, Brooklyn Nets.
He was
And
ejected. And you know who we mean when we say he at this point.
yes, he was ejected. And so one of the guys I was with, who's a big basketball fan as well, I asked him to set the line for points. And he set the line at 8. And I went with the under. And Ben, I think, scored 5 in like the
7.
first 3 minutes.
Wow.
He scored 5 in like the first 3 minutes. And he starts looking at me. And I was not at all nervous. Now, we didn't bet
No,
anything
and
like
you had no
usual.
reason to be.
No, but I was not nervous. And we happened to be sitting next to a family that was in town for a wedding. And the dad had coached Mikal Bridges in like middle school, and the son was friendly with him, and Mikal got them tickets.
You didn't
And
tell
so
me
they were
this.
also there. Oh, well, it's new to you now. They were also there to watch the demise of Ben Simmons.
Oh,
And
nice.
so it really was like, people were looking at us because the hatred of Ben Simmons just didn't make sense in a Phoenix crowd, but it was outstanding when he was kicked out. The Let's just call it 6 of us in a stadium of 20,000 were cheering very, very loudly. I will say
And it
going
was
to a game
Dario
there,
who did it. It was beautiful.
yeah, I will say that is a cool place. It's a fun place to watch a game. Um, quick question for you:
Mhm.
Women's European professional soccer, yes
Oh
or no?
boy. I mean, I know what you're referring to. And the answer, I have to be honest here, it was so incredibly boring.
So we watched the
Just a
Lyon
replay.
a replay, but we
It
didn't know
wasn't
who won the
live.
game, so it was new to us. It was new to us. We didn't look it up who won.
It
I
was
think they
on at
played
like
Montpellier,
11:30 p.m.
CBS Sports Network, quality programming at 11:30 p.m. on a Sunday night. And the reason I do have a question later on in the pod that
Uh-oh.
relates to this, but I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining. It was
You did
horrible.
not. You were so mad.
I mean, I was just generally mad
The
all weekend.
entire.
I think I'm generally a mad person. So, well, but we did, we went out to dinner with friends, and the first two topics of conversation on Saturday night, I was super positive. And
Notice how it
my
was
my
Saturday night, by the way. What else was
yeah,
Saturday night, Abba? What else was on that day?
I
What
missed
else was at the
I
exact same time?
so it was, happy wife, happy life.
You missed
And
what, 3/4 of the Eagles game?
3.5. I mean, I
Three
missed
and a
all of it.
half?
But I will say, like, I like blowouts, and I don't particularly like to watch like games where it's close anyhow. So it worked out really well. I checked my phone 14 nothing, checked my phone 21 nothing. My buddy checked his phone 28 nothing. I felt pretty good about life at that point. But what was interesting was we were talking, there was, you talk with friends, you talk about things, people.
Wow, do you
And
talk about things with friends?
I was generally very positive in like the first, let's just call it like two or three topics. And my friend goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'm paraphrasing. He's like, "Something's wrong because I've never seen positivity like this." And he's right. Normally we start off like low and we work our way up. And we start high, we kept it there. And so it was a fun night. Eagles obviously killed. Um, we'll go in. Let's get into the Eagles now. Let's get into our. Well, we made predictions.
I do
You
want to say
had the
the
Jags.
first thing you said to me entering the room where the Eagles game was playing was, I really enjoyed not watching the game.
Yeah, because we won. Here's the way I looked at it. Right when the question was brought up, do we cancel this dinner? And I didn't even think we should, but there were one of three outcomes. We were either going to kill them, which would have been great. We were either going to get killed, which would have been horrible, and I wouldn't have wanted to watch that, or it was going to be close, and I was going to get back at some point to watch a close game, and I didn't really want to waste 3/4 worth of a close game. Like I didn't want to bother with that. So I think overall, like it worked out really well for me. Um, we made predictions. Your predictions were Jags, Bengals,
Well, we
Eagles,
haven't even talked about
Niners.
the Wild Games predictions, where
No,
we had the same exact record. We were
yeah.
both
Look,
five and one.
you had picked the Jags. I did not, and then I picked the Cowboys, and you did not. And
I made you some money on the Jags too.
you did. I think we talked about that. I'm fairly
We
certain
haven't
we talked about
talked
that.
since
No, it's been two
before
weeks,
the
and we
wild
no,
card.
no, we
I'm
talked after
telling
the
you,
wild card.
it has been
We did.
over a week and a half.
Keep in mind the wild card was 2 weeks ago. We did talk after the wild card.
The wild card was a week and a half ago. You're crazy.
I think we talked. Anyway,
2 weeks ago was the Wednesday wild card weekend.
I don't. It doesn't matter. It's long gone. It's
I
over.
made you $105.
You made me $105.
Let's just get
Well
it
done.
out there.
Okay.
They were down 27-0, and I was like, they're going to come back and win this game. And I was right.
I think it's debatable who was saying to make the bet because I believe I thought about the bet as well, and I was talking about how I thought the Jags would win that game. But let's just move on. So this weekend, can we finally get to the fact that you picked the Jags, Bengals, Eagles, Niners,
Mm-hmm.
I picked Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, and you bullied me into the Cowboys. I really did
I
want to pick
did
them.
not.
You
No,
did.
that is such bullshit. You convince yourself of the Niners, but it was so incredibly
But
obvious
notice
that
I
you
bet
wanted to
this
pick the
weekend,
Cowboys.
I bet a parlay on Bengals, Chiefs, Eagles, and I did not bet the fourth game because I was not confident in the outcome of that game. So I believe you bullied me a little bit. Doesn't matter.
That's my
We've
job.
got this weekend Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, Niners. Who's going to win?
Bengals, Eagles.
Those are the two teams I have as well, Bengals, Eagles. I did make a few bets so I bet Bengals preseason to win it all. 20-1 odds. My $25 bet would yield 500. Right now they're offering to pay me out at like 125, which I think is
Who
complete
else
horseshit.
did you? Who else did you bet to win
The
the
Raiders.
Super Bowl at the
The
beginning of the
Raiders.
season?
Because I bought into that whole Carr
Best
Adams
friends
like
thing.
yeah, I bet I bought into it. I thought they would be
I mean, we've had this discussion, but I told you, too obvious bad bet.
okay. Well, but I made one good bet too with the Bengals, and they started off like 1-3, and everybody was writing them off. Um, so I have the Bengals. I then at the beginning of the playoffs bet the Eagles at 5-1, so $20 to make 100. And so what I did was I did bet like $40 on each of the Niners and the Chiefs.
Because
And
you're
so
guaranteed money.
essentially, I'm guaranteed money, and the $40 I put in, because all the other stuff is a sunk cost, gets me to the point where I'm going to walk away. I put $80 in to guarantee a minimum of 120 the way I did it. So 80 to 120. And I could, if the Bengals win it all, win 525, but I hope that doesn't happen. Um,
Well, I hope it does happen if the Niners beat us in this round.
correct, but I hope the Niners don't beat us.
Yeah.
So one of the things that came out, I guess today, I didn't even know, was the finalists for the 2022 season awards. And so we're going to go through them and we're going to make some predictions, but we're not going to write them down. Like, I don't feel like writing mine down because I'll change mine.
I don't want to do I don't want to do predictions. I
What the
want
hell
to
do you
do
want
who
to do?
we think should win it. There's a difference.
I'm going to call it the same thing.
Because I think Patrick Mahomes is going to win the award for the
Yeah,
MVP.
no, I'm going to pick
but I
who
think
I
should win it.
No, I'm going to pick who I'm not going that way. This isn't a bet. We're not betting with Vegas we're just making our predictions.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I
Our
made bets
choices
on
for the awards. What?
Can I tell you the other bet I made?
Oh
And
boy,
I don't think it's a horrible bet.
let's hear it.
I bet at it's some ridiculous number. 1,400 to 1. I bet $15 to win 2,000. However that makes I bet on LeBron James to win
Okay.
the MVP.
Because of JJ Redick.
Because of JJ Redick. Yeah.
Because of JJ Redick.
A little bit, yeah. But
JJ Redick
I looked at the
said in
odds.
one of the podcasts, he was like, if they make the fifth seed, maybe it's not going to happen, but I actually do respect it.
I did. I made that
I can
bet.
get behind
I made
that.
a few others. I'll look them up at some point.
We should go from random thoughts to a betting section. Because you talk about it every week in just whatever random section you
bet
want.
$16 total. Like, who gives a shit? I actually think I bet $13 on LeBron. I don't know why.
I think that's why it's more fun.
Maybe.
People like that.
That I bet like $13 on LeBron to win the whole
super long odds too.
Right.
Like, I think people like that more than like the.
Well, so I did.
250. Who cares?
I want to bet Jokic is the favorite minus 250. I think it's plus 400 for Doncic, plus 700 for Tatum, and plus 800 for Embiid. And I was thinking of betting the three of them. But I don't think
I
Doncic
would get
is
rid
of
it. Tatum. No, I would bet either Luka or Joel or both.
So I would bet Joel or Tatum. I wouldn't bet Luka. I don't think he's going to win it.
I think Luka's ahead of Tatum. I don't think Tatum
the bettors think he is, but
yeah, but what are the bettors now?
Well, they know everything, right? They make the lines. and they make them based on who's betting on what. So I think they're pretty good at what they do. They certainly keep making
Didn't you
money.
say shorter than Tatum's?
Yeah, Luka's odds. He's more of a
And
favorite.
one. No, I understand. Doesn't that then mean that he's more likely to win the MVP?
Yes, according to them. I don't believe them.
But you
I
just
just
said that
said.
they know.
I know. No, I know. I like to. I like
Okay,
to
just so
mix it
long
up a
as we're
little bit.
both aware you're a
Yeah.
hypocrite.
No, I like to mix it up a little bit. So, AP Most Valuable Player, 5 finalists, 4 QBs, and a wide receiver.
I think they
Jo-
just threw the wide receiver in there because
yeah,
they
he's got
like
no shot.
feel bad.
Justin Jefferson, he's not. He's got no shot. Josh Allen has no shot with 14
Justin
picks.
Jefferson would deserve it more than Josh Allen, to be honest.
Okay, so our finalists really are Burrow, Hurts, and Mahomes.
It will be Mahomes Hurts.
And I'm picking Hurts, and I'll tell you why. Because the Eagles looked. Everyone said anybody could fit into the system and they'd win,
I
and the
was going to
Eagles
say the
looked
exact same
like
thing.
dog shit. And so
They
it
said Gardner
proved that
Minshew
Hurts
would
is
be
great.
just as
Right.
good, and then we saw Gardner Minshew.
It
And I think
it
that that should
proves
improve his MVP case
yes.
rather than, yeah.
So AP Defensive Player of the Year, three
It is
choices.
a disgrace that Hassan Reddick is not on there. Truly the greatest oversight of all time.
Okay, so Nick Bosa. I can't vote for him anyway. He's a little bit of a. Chris
He
Jones
is.
and Micah Parsons.
Chris
And
Jones has no shot.
I think it's Micah Parsons,
I think
100%.
it's Nick Bosa.
Uh,
Micah Parsons has been the last few weeks, to be perfectly honest. I think he's
but the
averaged
playoffs
under
don't
half
count.
a sack
The playoffs don't
in the
count.
regular season, too.
Oh,
For the last,
uh,
I think it's like 4 or 5 weeks, even.
yeah. I can't be bothered to look at the stats for the last 4 or 5 weeks, but I think it's Micah
You
Parsons.
just don't care about the NFL enough. You
No, I
didn't
don't.
know these awards came out until I was like, so we're talking about them, right?
Sure. Now, what's the point of the AP Offensive Player of the Year? Like, isn't that
It's
just
so that they
MVP?
can, no, it's so that they can give it to a non-quarterback because everyone said the MVP is a quarterback award.
Well, so here you've got Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Hurts, and Mahomes.
I would say there is some chance to whichever quarterback loses the MVP as like a consolation prize, but realistically, it's going to be Justin Jefferson.
I don't. What's the criteria for this shit? Like
I
who?
couldn't tell you.
What if
Why
I don't
does
understand?
why does Cooper Kupp win Offensive Player of the Year last year for a triple crown, but not the MVP? Right? Like, there's
Yeah,
no
you know what?
rhyme or
I'm not making a
reason to it.
prediction. It's a stupid award. It's dumb.
Just pick a
Stupid.
player.
Fine. I'm gonna pick Tyreek Hill, just
Of
cause,
course you are.
just cause,
Just
because he's
because
got
you don't want to go with
zero
the same
chance.
person as me.
Tyreek Hill. There you go. AP Offensive Rookie of the Year: Brock Purdy, Kenneth Walker III, or Garrett Wilson.
It should be Kenneth Walker.
It's gonna
Brock
be Brock
Purdy's
Purdy.
played 5 games
It's gonna be Brock Purdy.
because it's a
It should be
regular
Brock.
season award. It's been 5 games. That
Yeah.
just
The
he
fact that they
shouldn't even
put him
be
on this list,
eligible.
but the fact they put him on this list means they're picking him.
Means he'll win it. Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
it shouldn't be.
AP Defensive Rookie of the Year: Sauce Gardner, Aiden
Yes.
Hutchinson, or Tariq Woolen. I mean, I'm going with
They're
Sauce
all
Gardner
very
because I like
good,
his
but
name.
Sauce Gardner is like maybe the best in the NFL as a rookie. Like,
And
he's
he's got the
that good.
best name.
He does have a great name. So I don't think it's his actual name though, which is a little upsetting. It's like the Bones Highland thing, where it's like Bones is a great name, Bones isn't his name.
Yeah. Well, did you see who rang the bell, by the way, at the Sixers
I
game?
did not.
DJ Jazzy Jeff.
We're losing. Every time
Why?
we have a cool bell ringer, we lose. Although, is he considered cool
Cool.
anymore?
Cool, I think, is a stretch, right? He was cool 30
So
years
then maybe
ago.
we do still win.
Yeah.
It's a little on the fence though.
We'll see. Got it on. Let's sold out Wells Fargo Center tonight. AP Comeback Player of the Year: Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, or Geno Smith?
I don't even
This is
think
actually a
he's
good
good,
award.
but it's Geno Smith.
It's Geno Smith. He had the best line ever. They wrote me
I
off, but
didn't
I
write
didn't write
back
back.
though.
Yeah, Geno Smith. I
By the
can't,
way, I was just slightly behind on the feed. They just showed me DJ Jazzy Jeff.
got it. So, look, Barkley, I think, has a decent shot at it. McCaffrey, because he got traded, I feel like he's out of the running.
I don't think I really do. I think it's a Ward. I don't think Saquon or CMC are in the running at all. I think this.
You're right. I think Geno Smith wins it. Yeah, no question. AP Coach of the Year is an interesting one. So you got Brian Dable from the Giants, Sean McDermott from the Bills, Doug Peterson from the Jags, Kyle Shanahan from the Niners, and Sirianni from the Eagles.
So this one's weird because I'm not actually sure Sean McDermott and Sirianni are in it. I've seen
Well, that's what
reports
they
that they're
said.
not actually on the ballot. I've seen reports that they are on the ballot. It's very strange.
So what I
Either
would
way,
tell
I'm
you
going with
is,
Doug Peterson.
so I think I'm going with Doug Peterson too. But of those five, Sirianni deserves it. You took a
No,
team.
I think Coach of the Year is more right. Like Kyle is one of the best coaches in the NFL, but he doesn't really win it because the team is consistently good and the talent is amazing. And to be honest, like Sirianni isn't consistently good because he's new as a coach, but the
But
talent
it's
is
not
there.
about.
They should be good. I think Doug Peterson taking a team from worst in the league to second round of the playoffs is the biggest jump in where you expected the team to be. And I think a lot of that
I
is down
look.
to coaching.
I understand that, but Sirianni had the best team in the league. It's usually the way it goes. He should probably win it. Um, I'm not even
Be
going into
upset.
AP Assistant of the Year. You know
No,
they have an
no.
AP Assistant Coach of the Year. I don't even
Is
know
it
why. Shane
assistant coach or
Steichen,
is it coordinator? It must be coordinator,
assistant
right?
coach. It's probably coordinator. Yeah, it's a
Interesting.
coordinator. Ben Johnson from the Lions, D'Amico Ryans from the 49ers, and Shane Steichen from the Eagles.
It should
I
not
couldn't
be
give a
Shane
shit.
Steichen. It's all I know.
I don't know. Who gives a shit, frankly? Um, so we've both picked our winners. Is it going to be a close game? Eagles game.
Both going to be close games. The Niners, I've been saying all along, the Niners scare the shit out of me. Now, I'm slightly less scared of them after the Cowboys game because I didn't think they looked good at all. But they still have like just as much talent as we do.
By the way, I do have to. I was thinking of something. By the way, so you're wearing which headset right now? Are those Beats? Like
Mm-hmm.
big ass Beats?
Yeah,
And so we ordered you some Apple headphones, right?
we
And I
did.
ordered them for you. You were wearing like Sony's that were expensive, but they were like cheaper than the Apples. And your grandfather was like, "Well, I'm not spending the Apple money." And it was like, "But it's only $100 more." So I made up the difference. Your grandfather got you, what is it, 37/47ths of the apples, right? 370 470ths, something like that. And we pitched in, your mother and I, $100. I ordered them probably, I want to say early December, and there was a date on them of like January 20th, right before you left for college. And then they moved up the date, and they moved back the date. And you wanted the blue ones. You didn't want the green because the green had an earlier
Because the
date.
green's weird.
I didn't. I thought they were fine. Who gives a shit? It's a color.
It's green.
Um,
Weird.
of course, we left to bring you back to school on Monday, and those fucking things came in on
I received
Tuesday.
it tonight of a picture of these goddamn headphones.
God, I mean, of course, of course, of course. Why
You've
would
got
they
some
come in a
stuff to
day
bring to
earlier?
me because I forgot some shit.
Okay, you'll give me a list. I'll come back in 2 weeks. Um, by the way, Sixers, Nets 5-5, 2 minutes in. Joel just got fouled hard by.
We do not need these live updates. The
Okay,
people who are watching this have already seen the game.
fair enough. But now we're on the Sixers because I think we're done with the Eagles. You got anything else to say?
We haven't said a word about the, but yeah, we can move on.
I mean, whatever. We've got a game this
We
weekend. They better fucking
looked
win.
healthy. That's all that matters. Healthy.
We looked healthy.
How would you
Sixers
know?
back home after a 5-0 road trip. I think both LA games were decided by a point. Did we play well on this road trip? Nope. I think we're playing like our record
Sometimes,
doesn't indicate that we're not as good as like 18-4 in our last 22.
but we actually are.
Are we?
And I've
PJ Tucker is still playing
but again, I've
25
gone
minutes a
back and
game and
forth
scoring
on
no points.
this. Like, this team is different from past years in that, like, there are no blowouts. We don't ever really look dominant, but they grind out wins the way that they never did in the years prior. And I'm not getting carried away. I don't think this team is going anywhere. I never have, and I never will until they prove otherwise. But, like, I don't know. They're doing something different this year.
Yeah, I mean, they figured out Harden and Embiid have figured out how to play with one another. So it's
Mm-hmm.
at least a little bit fun. Ooh, this is actually pretty good. So Embiid, Ben is on Embiid right now, and Ben just pulled the chair out from under him, and they were going at it. And now they're kind of yapping, and I love it. Sorry. I can't. Like, that's the kind of shit that Joel's got to get into it and just throw him out. Ooh.
You're
I
still
think
ahead
doing
of
a
me,
pod.
though, and you're, like, bullying me.
Yeah,
Because I haven't seen it yet.
well, this is good. This is good. Um, so trade deadline is approaching. Do we make a trade? Who do we trade, and who do you want in return? Realistically, like obviously, you can't say, "Well, I want Kevin Durant." It's not gonna
I
happen.
don't
But
want Kevin Durant. Let's make that clear.
whatever. Fine.
Perfect world, we don't have Kevin Durant.
Okay. But
We should make a move. This team is very, very weird in its construction. There isn't a single, like, traditional wing on the team. It's just guards, power forward, centers. There isn't a single three.
yeah, that's fair because you've got PJ Tucker essentially playing the three for 30 minutes a game, and he's not a three.
Well,
I don't even
Tobias
know
is
what the
a
hell he
three,
is.
but
But Tobias is a four.
yeah,
Let's be
that's what I'm
honest.
saying. Tobias is
Right.
the four who's been pushed out of position to the three.
By the way, okay. And I meant to bring this up earlier. This PointsBet commercial where the girl is just dancing on the putting green and the
Oh my
dude in the
God, you have
background is
to get over
dancing.
it.
It might be the dumbest fucking commercial I've ever seen. We're not doing an
Who gives
advertisement
a
today.
shit?
We're not doing one today. But if we did,
You're
we
just smear
do
campaigning the
a
points bet.
smear campaign
Oh
against
boy.
PointsBet. It's the dumbest
Every
fucking thing
time.
I've ever seen.
Every time.
I don't understand it. I mean,
See,
how
I get angry about real shit, and you get angry about dumb shit.
I'd rather get angry about dumb shit than real shit.
When I say
Life is
real
too
shit, I mean
short.
like our sports.
Oh, I get mad about that. I mean, we have plenty to get mad of when you talk about Tottenham. Um, so trade deadline, you don't. I think we make a trade. I actually think there's. So I think it's 50-50 we make a trade. And I think the guys on the block are Matisse.
Yep.
I think Shake is on the block.
I don't.
I do.
I think he's played his way into not being on the block.
But I think his contract situation puts him on the block, which is why I say 50-50.
Possibly, but it would have to be a good return.
I think
Because
Furkan's on the
otherwise,
block,
like,
but like
oh,
I
but
don't think
he's
anybody
always
wants
on the
him.
block. Yeah, exactly.
I don't. So if they trade Shake, though, who gets those minutes?
Whoever you trade for.
No, because Shake is playing the point, and you're going to trade for a 3, right? Like that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah, but because you hurts.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't
Like
know.
you'd still have Maxey Harden. Ooh, excuse me. Maxey Harden, Melton. I mean, I guess. Hopefully Daniel House is on the trade block too, but
No, his contract is probably shitty enough that it's not on the trade block. Yeah, I don't know what we're thinking signing him.
I questioned it at the time.
I don't
still
understand what he
see it.
brings to this team. Like he's not.
Do the Sixers have a new sideline reporter?
I don't
I've
know
never seen
how.
her before.
You know, I don't watch the game, so I wouldn't know.
That's a fair point.
Right? On purpose. By the way, Ben was just standing
Oh my
next
god.
to Jacob Koppelman's mother and father, and they were having a conversation. The people who were on
Like a
courtside.
legit conversation?
You could see them laughing. Just wait a
Oh
second.
my god, you
You'll
can
see
see
it.
it. You're
And they're
still
laughing.
ruining it for me.
I like ruining it for you. It's great.
I'm like
By the way,
20 seconds behind you.
Jacques Vaughn, he looks kind of homeless. Like
He does.
everybody
A little
wears.
bit.
Well,
Just
so
a
they're
little
all,
bit.
they got rid of the suits on the sideline. Fine, no problem. And they all wear, like a quarter zip with slacks and like, your sneakers or your shoes or whatever. But the outfit like Jacques Vaughn wears, like it doesn't, the collar doesn't come up. So it's kind of like it feels like he's ready to go to the gym and like work out in this
Maybe
outfit.
he
Not
is.
necessarily. I don't like it.
Maybe he's hitting the gym after this, putting in that work.
I don't know. I don't like it. Um, what else do we have to talk about with the Sixers? Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't really care about the Sixers all that much, so no.
You know where you should be tonight, by the way? At the fucking Maryland game. It's pathetic. You go to a Big Ten school, you have a great arena. You should be at the Maryland game with the Maryland Crazies.
I'm sorry. They're so boring. They just are. College basketball already is a boring product. And then you add to that the fact that, like, there's no one player that I can point and be like, that's the guy I'm going to see. There just isn't.
So the
It's a
point guard.
team of mediocre players.
Yeah, but the point guard has been playing really well. Like he's been scoring
Fine.
25 a game. Okay. I disagree. I think you should go to the games, but we are here at the podcast instead of you at the game. And we are somewhat watching the Sixers game as we're doing this.
You're watching
for
way worse than I am.
3.
You suck at this, by the way. Like, at least kind of hide the fact that you're not fully paying attention to the podcasting. But no,
No. I'm paying attention now. So we are on to Tottenham. Actually, no. We usually do something between 76ers and Tottenham. What do we do?
I have some sticks for you.
I like
the Ben Simmons.
Okay.
So you start. First of all, we have Isaiah Joe watch. My little pet project. Now, these stats are 3 days old. They may have changed slightly. The stat is Niang is now third in 3-point makes per 36 in January. Behind
Steph Curry and Isaiah Joe.
Klay Thompson and Isaiah Joe.
Clay's broken.
Isaiah Joe is making 5.1 threes a game out of 11 attempts for a 46.6% per 36.
Per 36, but how many minutes does he actually play?
36.
Like 18?
It fluctuates. Either way, Shouldn't have given him up for nothing. Really shouldn't have. I don't
Where
know
would
how
he
many
get
times.
minutes? Where would he get minutes on this team?
I mean, Daniel House started playing this season. Matisse Thybulle plays. Add up those
Matisse
minutes, give
plays,
them to Joe, and that's
but
like, there you
Matisse
go.
plays defense, and he's in
Don't
for the
care. So does
defense.
Isaiah Joe.
Not like Matisse. And
Not
Daniel House
okay. He doesn't
plays
foul as much as Matisse. You mean he's not as
3.2
reckless
minutes a game.
on defense as Matisse? He sucks. Daniel House sucks. Isaiah Joe was in the building and is significantly better than both. You all,
How
for
long are we
all
gonna
of your
have this
talk
conversation?
of minutes, forever, literally forever.
We need to get over it. You need to get over it.
Nope.
You need to move on.
Never gonna happen.
Isaiah
Never gonna
Joe
happen.
is not on that bench, and you just need to let it go. And he's not
Guess
an
who else should
all-star.
be here? Charles Massey.
What's he done lately?
He's been injured.
There you go. He's done nothing. And we haven't had to pay him to be injured. Perfect. It's exactly my kind of guy. Injured for a different team paying him, not us. Works great. Yeah. Charles
Ben
Massey,
Simmons
who are you
watch.
kidding? Ben Simmons watch. We need like a music to go with it. Would you go like
So are your stats out of
upbeat
date, or did
rap?
you update them today?
I didn't look at the stats actually, but I can. I always look at the stats. And it's
Well,
very
I
simple for
figured
me.
you had the statistics in front of you.
Oh, you want me to do the statistics?
You always do the statistics. You're the notes guy.
Last 5 games, Ben Simmons, 5 games started. Minutes per game, 29. Take a guess on points per game.
7.3.
6.0. Rebounds per game.
5.
7. Assists per game.
Let's go in the middle. Let's go 6.5.
So it's at 9. And that's
Really?
he's been consistently
But
getting
they're
double digits.
fake assists.
Oh, they're horrible. I mean, they're dribble handoffs.
They're like hands.
Yeah, they're not good. Look, they're not quality passes through traffic that generate, like a basket that they normally wouldn't get.
For a
It's
guy with
essentially
9
been.
assists in his last 5 games, he probably has 1 good pass a game.
And by the way, how many turnovers per game?
Ooh. 9 assists. Let's go 4.
Close, 3.8. Very, very close. What do you think his 3-point shooting percentages?
Would it happen to be 0?
0.0. How many attempts? 0.0.
Zero.
Ben, lighten it up from 3. I will ask again. Ben Simmons 3 years ago, you're now averaging 7.9 points on the season. No, that's the away. You are now
that's way
averaging.
too high.
So this is let's see the stats for this season. Ben Simmons on the season averaging 7.5 points per game. Ben 3 years ago. Yeah. Ben 3 years ago. Do you think you'd be averaging 7.5 points per game and be happy with that, Ben?
Yeah, that sounds like a really great season.
Yeah. For me, playing with KD and Kyrie, not for Ben Simmons, the number 1 draft, the number 1 pick in the draft.
I'm going to run the agenda that he's the biggest draft bust of all time.
He's not, though, because we picked another one of those.
Don't care.
His name's Markelle Fultz.
I'm going with it. No, Markelle is better than him. I'm going with it. We're running with it.
You're crazy.
Just run it.
How many points do you think Markelle Fultz is averaging?
Not many. What do I care? I'm not mad at Markelle like you are.
I'm hugely mad at Markelle, but the last 5 games he started the last 5.
Is it more?
It's way more. Last 5 games he's averaging 13.6 points per game.
Yes.
3.8 rebounds,
I am correct.
5.6 assists.
Ben, biggest draft bust of all time. Yep.
It's Markel Fultz.
It's not.
It's Markel Fultz. And there are
Stop
others,
hating on
Sam
Markel. No
Bowie
one
and
cares.
Markel sucks.
You know,
So did you have stats about Ben? Did you have anything you wanted to
I
talk
do.
about?
So these are 5 days old, but Ben Simmons this season made shots versus fouls.
Made shots versus
113 made shots. How many fouls?
more fouls.
119.
Yeah.
Now, these are 5 days old. He's played in games since then. But they're still going to be close. And that's really worrying for an NBA player. And by worrying, I mean dog shit. Simmons is just that.
Now, when you say worrying, do you actually care?
I do care, not in the sense of I'm worried for him, in the sense of I hope it continues because I can laugh at him. Like, can you imagine if he ended the season with more fouls than made shots? That would be amazing.
I mean, he's on pace to do that. Because you figure, look, if you have to figure if he's averaging 7.5 points a game and he doesn't shoot any free throws, so that's got to be 3 made shots a game, and he's clearly fouling more than 3 times a game. Just do the math. Math doesn't lie. Simple.
The math is
Easy.
mathing.
I didn't say that. You did. That's pathetic. Any other Ben Simmons stats?
He's shit. Move on.
Fair enough. So, you know how we talked about the women's soccer game? I have a question for you about Tottenham.
Why are we still doing this?
No, it's a good question, actually. I thought about this one. Do you think the women will win a trophy before the men do? From this point forward.
Ooh.
It's a good question. You're welcome. It's a good question.
It depends on so many factors, though. Like, if commit to a rebuild, the answer is no. But if we continue down this trajectory of like bringing in win now coaches and not selling the deadwood and all this stuff, absolutely.
You think the women, if the men continue down this path, the women will win before the men. But if we go through a 3-year rebuild, the men will win something before the women.
Basically, what I'm saying is we'll never win anything if we continue down this path, whereas we will in like 5 years rebuild.
And you don't think the women will win anything in the next 5 years?
I think they're kind of in a rebuild. I'm not claiming to be very knowledgeable on them, but
so I think they're investing in that team. I am going to say
the
women. I'm going to say I'm not. There's no caveats here. I actually do think the women will win a trophy before the men.
It would be really funny, and it would really help my agenda.
You're welcome. It's a good question. I've had a couple good questions today. A couple good thoughts, a couple good questions, whatever it might be.
Tooting your own horn a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. So Tottenham, since we last talked, destroyed by Arsenal, lost to City.
Destroyed by City.
Yeah,
destroyed.
And then defeated.
Destroyed by 2023 Riyad Mahrez, who is atrocious. And I don't care that he's been in a good run of form. He is terrible. And he demolished Perisic all day.
He did.
For all of that talk of Conte needs experience and we need to back Conte with his players, the 2 players that Conte brought in at fault for all 4 goals. Longley at fault for the 4th, Perisic at fault for the first 3. Yeah, and obviously Hugo was at fault for at least one, all of them.
Yeah, I think Longley was not a Conte signing. I think it was we couldn't find the right center back
There
and
were a
needed a
ton of
body.
young left center backs that
I
we
don't think
could
he
have
wanted
gone
any of
for,
them.
but that's the problem. They are good enough to play, but he probably said, I'm not going to play them because I'm a jackass, a stubborn jackass.
So obviously, my next question was going to be Conte out.
Obviously, is the answer.
Obviously, and who should we replace him with?
It's in order: Gallardo, number one, who's banging since before we hired Conte, actually. Um, yeah, I just think he's high intensity. He's tactically flexible. He's a little bit stubborn with his selections as well, but he's good with bringing through youth, stuff like that. So he's my number one. Number two, give the keys to Ryan
Pochettino.
Mason.
Oh, he's your number two.
Mason
Okay.
ball. Let him grow with the club. Just buy investment players. They will all grow together with him as a growing coach. Essentially, do Mikel Arteta, a guy who trained under Poch. I'm not
Yeah.
saying Mikel Arteta will be as good necessarily because you don't know that, but I think he showed good flashes when he was interim coach. As much as I may have um, called him some things, we won't elaborate. I called
So
him
this
some
is
things.
yeah, you weren't a fan. Let's be honest, you were not a fan. I actually was the one who said that
You weren't.
summer when we couldn't find a Nuno replacement that you give the keys to Ryan for a year as like your caretaker. You
To be
blow
fair,
it
I
up.
did say I said as um, just mad at him because he didn't play on Dombele. If you'll remember,
He was right not to play Ndombele because
he was
Ndombele is
not.
shit.
I know you hate him, but you are incorrect objectively. He is a
100% correct.
phenomenal player.
No, he is not.
And the Ryan Mason hero arc will begin when he reintegrates Ndombele. That's his first move as manager.
That's not going
Reintegrate
to happen.
Ndombele
Yeah, that's not going to
in
happen,
a
and you know it.
Sar, Ndombele, Bentancur midfield three.
Oh, that sounds horrible. Sounds like
What
my
do you
worst nightmare.
mean? It's so balanced. It's so balanced. You have a box to box midfielder, you have a progressor and an amazing dribbler, and then you have a disruptor in Sar. That is literally the perfectly balanced midfield three.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't know what to tell you.
You don't know ball.
Ndombele should never put a Tottenham jersey on again in his career.
Anyways, my third choice for manager is Poch back. Now,
I would
I don't
take
know
Poch
if
back.
Poch is the same manager. I don't know if he'd be good, but I know he loves the club for one, which after this whole Conte debacle, like I am not going into another guy who thinks he's doing us a favor by being here.
He was doing us a
They
favor,
can all
though.
fuck off.
He
Fuck
was
him.
doing us a favor, though.
Is
He's
he
doing
doing
us a
us a
favor.
favor now?
No, he's killing
Because he
us.
thinks he is. Is he doing us a favor? There you go.
No, he's killing us.
There you go.
He
So
needs to sign a new
give
contract for
me
3 years.
Poch back. I'd stop being a fan. I'd move on.
Really?
I mean, no, not
Really?
really, but
Okay.
I would rather I'd rather not watch than watch this for the next 3 years. You with the
So
Sixers, where you are a fan but don't watch any of the games, that would be me with Tottenham for the next 3 years. Or I would watch every game and just agendas all the time.
which is what you do now anyway.
It would be so much worse. If he signs a new contract, it'll be so
God,
much
I can't
worse.
even imagine it being worse because your agendas are like the they're horrible.
So great.
No, they're horrible. Um so this window, we've signed a left winger / attacker. You're not a fan.
He's just not very good. We've had this discussion 2 days ago or whatever it was at this point. Last night. Where I essentially said, like, he had a fluky year last year, especially that Champions League come to the semifinals, and then he's been terrible this year. Like, there is a reason let him go on loan. You don't let your best players go out on loan if you actually think they're all that good.
So I disagree a little. Best players. I disagree. I think
It's Villarreal. That's supposedly, if we're talking last year, one of, if not their best player. Supposedly.
But again, you got a new manager because Emery's gone, right? He went to Villa mid-season, and maybe he
He was
doesn't
bad for
factor in.
Emery beforehand, too, though.
I think maybe a change of scenery. I mean, let's be honest. Kulusevski and Bentancur weren't doing anything. They weren't lighting Serie A up.
But how about we get
at
our
Juventus.
scouting department to actually just find good players, relying on players to become something that they weren't? We are relying on Danjuma to do something similar to Kulusevski, where Kulusevski wasn't good for Juve. He was good for Parma, but he wasn't good for Juve. And it was a huge leap that took him to where he was. You can't rely on every player you buy making that leap. We got incredibly lucky with 2 panic buys last year. And this year, we're probably not going to have that luck.
But you yourself have said you've got to invest at times in players that are not as expensive.
Young players.
I mean,
And he's
25.
30 million. His option at the end of this loan is 30 million. That's not a young player you're investing in. A young investing in is Salzburg buying Oskar Gluch, the GOAT, for 7 million euros. And in a year and a half, when they sell him, he'll be sold for 70 million euros to some stupid club who didn't take the gamble now.
Yeah, but we take the gamble and they don't pay off. We don't take the gamble, it doesn't pay off. We
But
pay
that's
up
why you
for
buy the
certain
cheap
players.
gambles. The cheap gambles are so that you can buy as many of them as you want. Because instead of buying a player for 30 million euros, you buy 6 wonder kids for 5 million each. Just see what happens. One of them pans out, you're still at a net positive.
Yeah, I think you're missing the point.
They're young enough to sell for a profit too.
Tottenham has been burned when they've spent all of their money earned from they did it with the Bale money, right? Remember the Bale 6?
They bought mediocre players. They didn't buy young players. The only one who worked out was Eriksson, the young player.
The defender was young. Soldado was not young. He was garbage. No, they weren't that old. They had some legs left in them. I think they were thought to be decent. So do we bring in any new signing between now and the end of the window?
The Poro talk is heating up. It sounds like it will be done in the next day or two. I think that's a decent signing. I mean,
and what do you do with Jed Spence then? Do you loan him out?
Supposedly, they're now willing to let him go out on loan, which it sounds like is because of that exactly. Because they've managed to bring in Poro.
And will they loan him out to a Premier League team, you think, or a Championship team?
Well, the talk was... So Alistair, Brentford, and Leicester were interested, but then there was another reliable source that said there was no clubs. If I were the club and Jed Spence, I'd want to go to us, who have no right back. I mean, they have Nathaniel Klein, but he's ancient and not very... Like, that would be the perfect landing spot in my eyes for him. I think
So
he'd get really good game time.
if at the end of this window we have just signed the 2 players, is it a successful window?
No. You didn't get a center
Is it?
back, which you desperately need. You didn't get a creative midfielder, which you desperately
Are there
need.
really
You
any of them out there right now that are available?
I mean, anyone's available if you try hard enough.
Well, but
I
like,
mean,
are you
Poro
kind of
isn't
panic?
available,
But are you
but you're
kind of
spending
panic
the money.
buying in January for a guy you may not love, but because he's available, you're kind of getting him, right? You're not getting Harry
Well, the
Maguire in
target I would
January.
want, why would you buy Harry Maguire, period? I
Well,
don't think
you've
he'd be
talked about,
terrible, but like that, he's 29. Like, that's the last person you should be buying.
but you've said he'd fit
That's
in
not.
perfectly with this system.
He would at central center back, but with this system. I don't want this system. I want Conte gone. I want a young left center back. Hincapi, the Ecuadorian from Leverkusen. He's like 21, 20.
Do you want to play a back 3 or you want to play a back 4?
With the new coach? No, absolutely not.
You want to play a back 4?
Yeah.
So what's your preferred, like, Ari Abramovich is the coach of Tottenham. What's your preferred lineup? And I don't mean players, I mean like setup, not lineup. Sorry.
A keeper
Are
that
you a
can play with
4-4-2
his
guy?
feet. Hang on. Just
Okay.
no. I'm not Brexit balling this.
Okay.
Fuck no. I want it to be kind of fluid. So a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 kind of thing where it kind of switches in one of the, or in possession you could honestly, like, you could defensive minded midfielder into the back and make it technically 3 defenders, but either way, I want as few back as possible. So sweeper keeper, good with his feet, comes out to get crosses and shit like that. Neuer style. Attacking right back, attacking left back. They shouldn't be killed defensively, but
So
that's a
you prefer,
secondary
like,
thing.
because we've talked about this before, right? The Mourinho style was that one of them would go up, and let's say
And
the
the
right
other would
back went up,
shift
the
in.
other one would shift
The
in. You'd have the 3
midfielder to
backs.
shift back and both the
You do. So
fullbacks to push on.
that's the Poch way of doing it. Poch was like that.
Exactly.
Right. Poch would have
Yeah.
Dyer essentially move down and have the center back split. So he'd have the 3 backs and
Yeah,
he'd have
so
the two going up.
I think I've convinced myself now of a defensive-minded midfielder shifting back, kind of just a disruptor, Sar style, Basuma style, maybe. I think he'd
Does he
work
fit better
better.
in that?
Yeah, I think he fits better under a new manager. But if you get a good enough offer, I'd be tempted to sell anyway. Box-to-box midfielder, Bentancur is perfect. You don't need to sign anyone there. Maybe a backup if you want, but you've got the guy. And then a creative midfielder who can kind of act as a third and more as a fourth in the attack. One winger who cuts inside, one winger who stays out wide, and then a striker who sits his ass in the fucking box and scores goals. None of this dropping deep to be a defensive midfielder bullshit. None of it.
So you want Harry to be the real number 9.
No, I
Which
want
he has
Harry
not been.
gone. I want like a Holland style 9.
Oh, because they grow on trees. Like, you could
No,
just,
but that's what a
there's,
striker is.
you know what
I
it
mean,
is? The
Richarlison is
tree
more
they
of that
planted
style.
for the dead coach, you're just going to pluck a striker off that tree and you're going to plop him in, and he's your number 9 because it's so easy to find them.
You have one. I mean, he's not the person that I would necessarily want to be the long-term starter, but Richarlison is that striker.
He is a striker,
who just
though.
scores goals. He's not trying to drop deep for bullshit reasons to be more involved.
Look, I think the problem I have with a lot of our guys, and Richarlison highlights it, is I mean, you look at Richarlison, you look at Perisic, you look at Lloris, you look at these guys, and they play better for their national teams than they do for us.
You say
And
that
I'm
about
tired of it.
every player ever.
But it's true for Tottenham. The
Maybe
only
you're
one that
just
plays
assuming.
better for us, frankly, is Harry Kane. He doesn't sky penalties into like the 57th row or whatever he did, right? Like,
No, he goes to finals. Harry Kane is equally as bad for Tottenham and for England. Like, it's not a competition here.
it's a little bit of a competition.
It can be equally terrible when big games occur.
So this weekend, we've got the FA Cup fourth round.
Yes.
Notts County.
So boring.
Will we line up like a full strength squad, or you think he'll
Yeah,
rest a few
because he
guys?
doesn't rotate. He doesn't play young players. You'd like to see, I mean, possibility we see Sar, but like if you think there's any world in which if because there's not a guarantee he's still here, or any of them are still here. If you think there's any world in which Heel, Sar, Bent all play, you are delusional.
So is Skippy's time here done?
It's tough. If you commit to a rebuild, it doesn't have to be. Because you can afford to let him fully come back from injury and work his way back into fitness. Like, part of it is definitely you haven't played in a while and you only get these short cameos or you're thrown in at the deep end for like a start. Like, you kind of need to ease your way back into it. But rebuilding, then yes, his time is done.
So I think he needs, look, this team, I think Skippy's done. I think Doherty's done. I think Emerson's done. I think Sessegnon might be done too. He took a huge leap when Conte arrived, and he has since returned back to, I don't
Well,
know if you
I
call it
have a question
normal.
for you.
Yeah.
If you switch back to a back four, does it make sense to bring back Reguilon? And have Reguilon and like Udoji as your fullback rotation?
So the question is, was Reguilon all that bad in a back five? Like he didn't play it all that
He
much.
didn't
He was
really get a
injured.
chance.
He didn't get a chance. So I will tell you, I did not understand why Conte discarded Reguilon so quickly because I think he
Just
never got
really
a chance.
understood why he chose Cess. We never really figured that
Well,
one out.
I will tell you, I think based off the first, let's say 3 months, 4 months, 5 months of last season, I think we understood why he chose Cess.
Well, we
This
agreed
season,
that Sessegnon was performing better, but we never fully understood
I don't
why
think
he
Reguilon
like
was
switched him
bad.
in.
I
Exactly.
don't think
That's what I'm
Reguilon was
saying.
bad. I
Reguilon was
never
never
understood that.
terrible to the point where Sessegnon needed to be brought in,
Yeah.
which is why we were.
Yeah, and how's he doing, by the way? Any clue?
Doesn't play. Off injured. He only just came back like a little while ago. I don't think he plays that much.
Okay. I mean, do you bring back, the problem is every single one of the guys we wanted off our books is loaned and they don't have like a buy clause. It's like they may have an option, but it's not a required option.
If
And
you're
so,
switching coaches to a back four formation, a midfield three, or a 4-2-3-1, which is essentially just a midfield three, but one of them's more advanced, I think you give a few training sessions to Dombele, which you're not going to like, Lo Celso, which you're not going to like, and Reguilon. Like, those are
so
Harry Winks has to be done. Like, that experiment is done.
yeah, no, I think
I
he's
don't want him.
done.
I don't want him for
Yeah,
whatever.
no, I'd rather have Skippy. He's younger and he's hurt, so you give him a little bit of time. I don't think you need both. Uh, Man, Skippy was like a world beater against Real Madrid in the Champions League too, or not
Winks.
Skippy, Winksy. I
Well,
think you
their
bring back
careers are
Reguilon.
following worryingly similar trajectories. Started off
I
really well, got an early injury, and then hopefully Skippy is doesn't end up in the never the same category. But as of right now, doesn't look good.
No, it does not look good. I will say I'd bring back Reguilon. I think I like we said, I don't understand why he
I'm
was
not sure I
discarded in the
love
first place.
Reguilon, but like if you're, I think Doji should start. Like he's essentially the best young player in Italy, one of them. So I think you essentially just tell him like you're gonna start next year, and if it doesn't work out or you need more time, like then maybe we swap in Reguilon. The Perisic, what's it called? The
What?
uh,
Who are we talking about?
I'm trying to think of the word. The Perisic
Experiment.
experiment has not worked,
No, it's not. I
and I
mean,
don't. That's actually just didn't. I didn't love it, but I also understood it. Didn't hate
well,
it at all.
so
Like it
you've got
made
two.
sense.
Look, you've got 2 years of Perisic. I think what you do is you play him where Croatia played him a little bit to give Sonny a break, or not play Sonny
Well, if you're
104
rebuilding,
minutes.
which we're working under the assumption that we are, Sonny's gone too.
Fine. So you could play Perisic up there. I mean, that's where he
That's
plays
not
for
what you want.
Croatia. I'm not saying that's what
What
you
I
want, but
would
you got
say
another year
about
of him.
Perisic is if you're going to keep him, it's essentially just you're a mentor. Like you're going to play cup games at most, and you're a
It's
mentor.
fine. That's look.
You're not playing on the
We're
left
not saying
wing.
anything different. You're not listening. But we're not
But I
saying
don't
anything
want
different.
like he's not playing on the left wing. There is no
He
world
is.
in which I play him on the left wing, and I
Well, it's a good thing
don't
you're
think
not the
there's any
manager.
world in which a new attacking coach plays him on the wing either. I wouldn't see why they would ever want to do that.
I don't know. I think it doesn't matter. Um, we'll see. I think Conte will be out this summer. I think we're gonna have to find another coach, and um, yeah, we'll go from there. It makes me sad, as I've told you before. This
It
whole
makes him
team
so
makes me
sad,
sad.
and it makes me so giddy.
Yeah, well, you appreciate and enjoy my sadness, and I
No, and enjoy good attacking football slash soccer. And I hate this pragmatic bullshit.
you know what? I want Thomas Tuchel as our coach.
No,
I'm going. My
no,
list is as
no,
follows:
no.
Pochettino 1, Tuchel 2, Jesse Marsh. No, just kidding. I don't want him.
Did you see Jesse Marsh is also buying Weston McKennie now?
I mean, they're
Just
making the
all the
U.S.
Americans are going to
It's
leave.
it's how like it's the channel
He buys
U.S.
Haji
men's
Wright.
national team. Oh, that guy's not good though. Well,
He's
maybe he
not at
buys
all
Gio
good.
Reyna.
Maybe.
Be,
It'd be
uh,
interesting.
does Everton go down this year?
Yeah, probably.
Have they hired a new manager yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. I hope they do not. That would be a shame.
You don't
One of the
actually
big
care.
clubs in England. No, I do care. I do.
Would you like it if West Ham went down and
Yes.
Leicester went down?
Yes.
Those are also two of the big clubs in England.
No. West Ham is
Yeah.
a rival that did us a favor by taking the Olympic Stadium, and Leicester won a title when we should have. And I said it then that they were going to go down within 5 years, and I didn't. I'm not right. So let's just be very
But
clear.
you're
I'm not
close.
right.
You're close. If they went down this year, you'd be close enough that we'd give you some credit.
Exactly.
But we finished third in a 2-horse race.
We did. That is very true. We lost it on the last day of that season, or like thereabouts. Um, so we are at the stage in the podcast where we talk about, oh boy,
Say it.
the punch of the week.
Punch of the week.
Punch of the week. Who you got?
I have Dakota Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. I've been saying it all along. He is ass. There are probably 20 quarterbacks I would take over him. And they did exactly what everyone expected them to do. Everyone except for their fans and the people who drink the Kool-Aid anyway, that is. I don't know how they get sucked in every year. Like, it took me 2 years of Sixers disappointment for me to be like, yeah, they suck and I'll never believe in this team again. The Dallas Cowboys, it's been 28 years?
Well,
28
Dak
years?
Prescott has not been the quarterback for 28
They
years.
haven't
You know
made
that, right?
the Super Bowl in 28 years. And yet themselves that they are Super Bowl favorites every single year. It's a
So
the
I will
definition
say,
of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
I think Mike McCarthy is not a very good coach.
He is
and
not.
I think if you put a decent coach in there, I think
That's
they'd
how
have
they
a better
get you,
chance.
though.
I think Sean
they'd have
Payton
a
would have a
better
chance with that
chance.
team. I think
But guess
Sean
what?
Payton,
They'd still fall short in the second round like they do every other year.
I think Sean Payton could have a chance of winning a Super Bowl with them.
He wouldn't.
I mean, it won't happen.
Dak isn't good enough. It's that simple.
So
Dak tried to throw
enough.
6 interceptions against San. He tried really hard.
He had a bad game.
He always came. And
No, he had a good game
always drink
against
the Kool-Aid.
But he had a good game against the
This is the thing.
Tampa
We
Bay
have these conversations
Buccaneers.
where my father, on the left-hand side of your screen, is like, he's capable of these amazing games. Okay. And? So is
my
fucking
punch of the
Brock
week,
Purdy, and he's got no talent.
My punch of the week is it's not going to be a popular choice, but it's not meant as an insult. It's just that if you looked at the beginning of the season versus where we are today, you could call them a disappointment.
I think I see where this is going.
And I feel really bad about doing it, but I'm going to say the entire team, and it's the Buffaloes.
It kind of has to be. Yeah, I understand.
And so with that, we thank you for listening. I thank you, Ari.
I thank you
for being here.
I thank you.
And with that, we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Oh boy, that is too close.